It's getting bright out.
Yeah.
That's good. The sun's gonna warm us up.
Let's hope.
We're gonna do a live Q&A with the Silverside bus project this morning. Boozer777 is our first person to say, hey, what's up? We got a lot going on here, so hopefully you guys will have a few questions or we can talk a little bit about what we got going on. Let me know if it's coming through okay. I'm not using the booster right now. I didn't want to have to dig that out if I didn't have to. Hello, everybody. Raleigh, North Carolina. Fredericksburg, VA. So looks good to you, couple of you guys. Okay, good. I'm not moving it very much, so we'll see how it goes. The sun's coming out. We're really tired, by the way. This is Sage, who's sitting next to me here. He is the bus owner. Look, he's got a smile on his face.
Yeah. That's because my wife doesn't know about this yet.
Uh-oh.
No, I mean, she knows we own it. She just doesn't know how this week's been going.
Oh, good thing she doesn't have YouTube.
Yeah, well, she will be okay.
Gotta get some sunglasses.
She knits, so she'll just get another knitting project and we'll be equal.
Oh yeah, that's about equal budget. Oh man, hopefully I'll be able to see. I don't know if the sun stays out. I can't even see the screen right now.
Yeah, I'm having trouble finding the video.
He's gonna try to read some questions for us and stuff too. If you guys have any questions about anything, now would be the time to ask. The problem is if I put my sunglasses on, I can't see the screen then. So yeah, I had no idea I was gonna do this. We just decided just now, so I didn't have any notice either. I know a lot of people are concerned about the way that this engine mount looked over here, but the rest of the bus is not like that. Okay, I mean it has a couple of other issues. But the reason that the engine mount and all of those rivets were pulled out and everything is, number one is vibration, but number two is the fact that that bottom brace had been broken. So the whole corner, every time the engine would torque, that engine would move, and that's ripping against the rivets on the mounts. And even though the women, oh my God. I don't even know where I was going with that. Even though the aluminum was the word I was trying to come out with, it's kind of brittle and stuff in there. It's not bad. It's just around those rivets, they're steel rivets, so the two things don't play nice together. So you get some of that corrosion in there. We're going to go with a little bit larger bolt size. We're going to reinforce the backside of the bulkhead with new aluminum. I should say it the way Stu says it, and I'll do a little bit better. But yeah, so we're going to get that. It'll all be strengthened. It'll be redone. But because everything was flexing so much and banging around and vibrating around where the two metals met together, that's why that was falling apart. And I've worked on two other Silversides that mount has broken in half before. David changed his last year. He got one from Stu, and another Silversides I worked on. I have a video of it where that whole aluminum bracket is completely just rusted, or not rusted because it's aluminum, but was just corroded all the way through and it completely separated into two pieces back there too. So it is a common Silversides problem, and a lot of it does come from that mount underneath because it seizes, the aluminum casting seizes to the steel that it fits on, and then it can no longer flex like it's supposed to, and when it becomes rigid, that's when it becomes a problem. So we'll have this fixed up. The motor's not going to fall out of this bus. He's got everything over at the machine shop or fabrication shop, which is supposed to be a really cool place.
We have two different vendors. We've got a welder welding on the cross brace that broke in half, and then we've got a fabrication shop working on the engine mount assembly.
So, and that stuff is supposed to be, did they say when the brace was going to be done?
The engine mount?
Yeah.
I asked for this afternoon. He said that they would have it tomorrow at some point.
That's fine.
The guy just started getting into it. He's like, once we kind of broke down its parts, then he's like, oh, this isn't as hard as I first thought it was. So he was trying to get his head around how he was going to replicate it.
That's good. And we're not going to be ready for that until tomorrow anyways. Today we're going to try to get all the wheels, hubs back together, the race is in, the new bearings on, packed. We're going to go through the brake system on the bus. We had to order a new brake shoe and lining for the one that was broken on the other side. But we should get all the wheels back on it hopefully today. I want to be careful how much I move it because the engine is literally just sitting on blocks right now. But I'm pretty comfortable that should go real well.
So there was a question, could we put some kind of rubber mounts to reduce the vibrations on that particular part?
Well, there already is a rubber mount that goes over the trunnion, where the trunnion goes through, there's a rubber bushing that goes in there. So the engine is actually vibrating in that bushing. So the rest of it won't move. It'll just vibrate. Because everything else is rigid, it'll just kind of go through the bus. But the problem was that the way that they had it, that when it was going down the road, it was banging around and coming apart. So that should be fine.
Said there's a bus and truck repair guy who's never seen a brake chamber that's bolted together like this one is.
Well, then he must not be old enough, because all the silversides and the early stuff like that, everything is bolted together. That's how my bus is too. How much is it going to cost? I saw that question come up there.
What's that?
They said, how much is this all going to cost?
Yeah, Scott. No, I don't know.
I don't know. The labor on this job, I'm going to assume by the time we're done, is probably going to be like, I have no idea. I don't even know how many hours we're at right now, but it's not horrible. He got this bus for such a good price that when he comes out of this, if he's $10,000 to $12,000 into the bus, which is what I kind of anticipate that he will be, he's going to have, a $12,000 to $15,000 bus. So it's got great bones. Man, the sun is reflecting off the building right here next to me and blinding me.
I've looked at a bunch of different buses, and first off, this is a 41. This is pre-war, and so there's a little bit more of at least to me, a little bit more of a kind of unique, cool part about this being a bus built before World War II. And so there's that, but the price ranges of silversides, if you look around, are going to be somewhere between 15 and 25, at least asking price. It's not usually what they're buying them for. And so I kind of had an idea of, you're never going to end up with something substantially less than market rate. It's just, this is just a cool bus. I really like this particular bus. So costs being where they are, Scott was actually really honest to me in Blytheville when we were at the bus rally about kind of the costs of these things. And so he set expectations where they needed to be, and we're meeting them.
There is no overdrive unit that's available. I mean, I'm not saying something can't be built, but there's no other bigger gears for my bus. Somebody just asked if there's an overdrive I can put in Lenny or a taller gear. There's not. There is supposed to be a silversides version that came out with a 2-speed rear end. I've never seen it. Gene's never seen it. I've seen some literature that said it's there, but I've never seen one. If I could get my hands on one, I would. I'd be a little scary though, because if parts go out on it, if parts aren't available for it. Remember, we have a V drive, so we can't just put any ring and pinion gear in these things. Everything is a little bit different back there. There's just not a lot of options to go faster than that. And honestly, if I can go 70, my top, well, depending on how fast I want to go, I had it up to 76. How much faster do you want me to go in that damn thing? That's fast. I mean, I'm passing semis left and right. Yeah, it sounds like I am hauling ass, but it sounds like I'm going even faster just because it's a 2-stroke. So all 6 cylinders are firing every single revolution. So on every, for RPMs, you got to think about that. They just sound badder and meaner than the 4-strokes that you guys are used to hearing and seeing. So, I mean, there's a reason that they're called, Screaming Jimmies, because they are. And I'm going, when you hear me going 2,400 RPM, I mean, you're going more than that in your car. So I don't see what the deal is, but I'd really like to probably stick to this project here for the Q&A stuff.
Well, there was a question about the transmission mount on Lenny that you had to replace. There's a Silverside owner wondering where he might source one.
What transmission mount are they referring to?
I don't know. He said the transmission mount that you replaced on Lenny. So I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I don't think I replaced a transmission mount. So I could be wrong.
Okay, so we don't know.
But anyways, I would talk to Gene Russell about any of that stuff. He's the guy that's got a dozen or so Silversides sitting out there. I think they were gonna scan that trunnion, right? Was that what they're gonna do and CNC it?
The trunnion, that's what they're gonna repair.
Oh, okay.
He looked at that. He said that would be a much longer job.
Okay.
So we're going to put a reinforcement plate in the back. He said because the steel will be thinner.
Okay.
He said it'll all work out, that the trunnion will be in the same spot in the bus.
Okay.
So they want to know if we can see the fabrication of the support beam. I have to go back there in a couple hours, and I was going to shoot some video if they're welding at that point, if they let me in the shop. All of these vendors are doing me a big favor by getting things turned around in a day or two, and so I don't really want to push my luck. I mean, we had a drive shaft built in basically 4 hours. I'm having things at welding shops where they're 2 weeks out to get things fixed, getting things done in a few hours. And so if they don't mind, then I'll certainly record some stuff. But I'm treading lightly with these guys because every one of the folks that have been helping us are kind of dropping somebody else's project and helping us so we can get this done right away.
That would be cool though to have video of that. I would like to have gone down to that shop and seen it, but I just got too much other stuff to do here, which we can't stay on the computer here too long this morning. Tyler's finally up and walking out of the bus. Are you watching our live stream?
Yeah, I was watching. I was trying to find socks.
Oh.
Let's see.
Scroll through some of those too if there's something.
Oh, somebody said he loves how the town is talking about us. So, can I say something here?
Yeah.
Scott's a rock star. Every day, people are, I don't want to be blasphemous, but they come bearing gifts every day. The wise men show up. And yesterday, I mean, he got a model bus and he got some other stuff. The day before, another guy brought this like care package of lubricating oil and things like that. And Jacob has been here for 3 straight days. This kid, I try to do anything. I try to buy him dinner. I try to, pay him for the time that he's done here, and he won't take a dime because he's just enjoying it. So.
And he goes to work at 5 o'clock in the morning every morning at his regular job, works all day, and then comes here and works until later than I worked last night.
By the time he shows up, we're dead. He's
Yeah.
working harder than us that entire time.
Yeah, he's a rock star too, that's for sure. And I don't know that I mentioned that he was here yesterday. He was in the video. He was the guy in the video in the full-on grinding safety equipment. Maybe he might have been the first safety-approved.
I was pretty close. 20 minutes there.
He had the mask on, the
He had a
goggles.
respirator on.
Yeah, he did good. But no, he's been a big help. And I had another a YouTube viewer stop by yesterday that owns a local fueling station, and he wants me to come by and do a little PR event on our way out of town, and they're gonna fill us up with free diesel fuel. So that's really cool. So we'll keep I'll let you guys see that when we do that. We'll post pictures and some video of that. It'll be fun.
Wondering about the impact that you use to take lug nuts off.
I'm just using that DeWalt 1/2-inch.
DCF 899.
That's the number. There's probably other better ones that are out there.
Milwaukee.
I think the Milwaukee fuel is probably better from what I've heard.
I've used both of them. Milwaukee is nice.
I'd love to have Milwaukee send me one of those.
But all my other stuff's DeWalt. So I have DeWalt.
So, a question about dissimilar metals and that causing an issue.
Well, they've been together for 80 years, and most of the rivets are just fine. Like I said, matter of fact, they don't want to come apart. So I'm going to say that a steel rivet and aluminum gets stronger over 80 years. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that's bright out now. The building's
I know.
blinding me.
Yeah.
I'm not winking at you. I just can't see.
Uh,
I can't see the screen.
do you have all the tools for the project?
I got a hammer.
Yeah.
A hammer.
A hammer and a torch seem to be the two handiest. The cutting saw, the cutoff,
Cutoff wheel.
sawzall
Drill.
came in, drill.
Drill, ratchet, socket. We got everything.
Yeah.
If you know
Diesel
the torch
fuel.
makes up for it.
Yeah. And Lance doesn't have the auto, and somebody's asking if the auto transmission swap bus is running yet. He's not quite done with that yet. I think he's got another week worth of little things to do on it still. And he's had a daughter that's been sick. She has kidney stones, teenage daughter. So I feel bad for him. He's been in and out of the hospital with her. Is there any other questions on there? Is there we need to scroll
No,
through?
nothing's popping up. Oh, here's one.
We haven't got it today. Today's the day that he's checking the fuel tank. He's gonna drop the bung on the bottom and see if water comes out of it or fuel comes out of it. We didn't even use that fuel system. We just completely bypassed it when we ran it. But I'm not really concerned about it.
Morning, Tom. And can I just say thank you so much for selling me this bus?
Tom's on there.
Yeah, that's who asked about the fuel tank.
Oh. Hey, so we found out something else yesterday that I was unaware of. That this bus, that we're near the river here, so this area does flood, and this bus was left here when it did flood last time, which explains why there was no oil in the oil pan and all that kind of stuff. So they would have drained all that after it went through. So
The water never got to the engine. It
Yeah.
may have gotten to the bottom of the oil
Oil pan.
but it only came up a few inches.
And we
So-
can see on the wall here where it was marked, so we know how deep it was, but it looked like it was about, what, 18 or 20 inches at the most.
Yeah.
The bus sits pretty damn high.
Scott's got a really enormous torque wrench to get the proper torque for the lug nuts.
Yes.
They were asking about how
And
to
I'll
get-
teach him how to do it.
Yeah.
Might teach you. You're gonna let him do it.
Well, I'll hold the dumb end and he'll do the the smart end of it. Yeah, it's like 4 foot long or more, isn't it?
Oh, so this old bus wants to know how we're going to rivet the engine brace back in.
We're plating it and bolting it, and it's coming through with more aluminum on the other side as well. So it's going to have a larger aluminum block. We can get into it because of the back side.
Question about a silversides reunion.
That we're having one.
Asking is there going to be one?
Oh, I don't know. We should. Well, we just had what 7 of them at Blytheville. That was pretty awesome.
Instead of just a Silverside reunion, we need to have a Bus Grease Monkey meetup.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did have a Bus Grease Monkey
Rally.
once. I need to do that again.
Oh.
It's still a lot of work and time and all that, but it was fun. We
Yeah,
we
but
did
now
crazy
have
stuff.
All of them
Yeah, like
that help us do it.
we had like our friend Bill Geary brought out his scales, and we all weighed our individual wheels. So like when you go to a truck stop, you don't know left and right, you just know front and back. So we actually, with his individual scales, everybody was able to weigh everything, you know, so you can maybe move some of your stuff around, or if if your front left tire's got an extra 1,000 pounds on it or something, that, you know, that was nice to be able to know that.
So they're asking how rare are silversides.
They're pretty rare. I mean, there's hundreds of them out there that are still available, but some people, you know, I mean, I think one of them sold for close to $500,000 last year, and there's some that are out there that people think they're worth $100,000. You looked at one what was the guy asking for it? Like,
Well, he wanted 60.
yeah,
But he didn't really have a price. He was all over the place.
but it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't a whole lot better than like what ours is, was it? I mean, was it something crazy, or it's just he just thinks that's what it's worth?
The sides were pretty. I looked at the engine, was pretty looking, but he couldn't start it, and tires all needed. I mean, again, it's price is what somebody's willing to pay for it.
Yep.
And he didn't really want to start getting into a conversation. That guy did, but I don't know. I've seen probably 7 of them out there. A lot of the owners of these buses right now either have them parked in a field somewhere and they're not even thinking about selling them. You kind of have to find them. And I used to be a Volkswagen guy, and I mean that's how you get cool cars. Is you have to become a detective and find them. Coming to San Diego?
It's on the schedule.
Mounts fabricated. I'm hoping a day and a half before the engine mount gets completed. They said they see what they can do, but they understood the sense of urgency. Oh, here's a good question for you. Do you work in the Midwest during the winter?
No, absolutely not. Which is I've kind of been complaining about being here right now.
It's over 50 now.
It is not. It is not.
Hang on, I'll check the weather.
Yeah.
It was going to be 40. It wasn't going to be 50 until afternoon today.
It's exactly 50 degrees right now.
Oh, your phone's lying.
Somebody's asking what my YouTube channel is. I don't have much on it right now, but it's gonna throw it out there.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you just search VW Sage, I've got a website, and then I guess my YouTube channel is VW Sage. You'll find it all one word. Because I still do have a bunch of Volkswagens and stuff, but I think that they're all going to get sidelined for a while.
Tell them about the Volkswagens you have, because these people like that too. A lot of them do.
Well, all right. So I've had 22 buses since 2005. I think I started getting into it. I've had-
VW buses, you need the.
Yeah, VWs, micro buses. Let's use it that way. And so right now I've got a 23 window Samba. That's a 1961. I've got a 64 panel that's been converted into a camper. I have a squareback, a 1969 squareback. I've had a double cab, and I've had all kinds of other things. And then I've got a newer one. I've got a 97 Eurovan, and I think that's it for the Volkswagens today. I just got to have so many, I just pared down to what I really want. And so now I've got to figure out where to park the bus because my garage is only so big.
Garage door's probably not big
This
enough
is,
either.
this is like 2 buses wide and 3 buses long. So this is about the same size as 6 Volkswagens.
You build a new garage when you buy a bus.
Yeah.
It's kind of just a thing you do.
Well, I'm learning that.
Big carport.
Question. Ever been to Minnesota?
Yeah, I'm going to Minnesota next. I'm complaining about winter now. We'll be up working on Busboys buses up there. Is it Rochester? Is that where they are? Bloomington area right there? So yeah, I'll be up there for a couple weeks and then try and pray and I get out of there before they get snowed on hard or something. Kelly's not looking forward to that either.
What's plans for the bus? All right, so the outside, I'm probably not gonna go crazy and replace all the aluminum. If I can get a couple pieces, I've got some big holes I want to fix. But old buses, old vehicles come with blemishes, and I am totally comfortable with it having a little bit of ugly to it, because that's character. On the inside, I originally wanted to keep as much of what's in there right now intact. I'll probably leave the bathroom and do some updates to it. I've already gutted what was the bedroom in the back because it was not functional at all. The wood over time had just started to decay. It's that cheap wood paneling from the 70s. So my wife and her sister have been working on an interior design that's going to be very much in the period of the Art Deco era from the 1940s. So she's a design. My sister-in-law is a designer, and has been looking at things that are of that era and trying to kind of come up with a theme. But they're working on that. I'm staying out of that particular side of it, but it will be updated. I'm not going to go crazy. I've seen some really extravagant examples of an interior, but I'm a Volkswagen guy, and it's fairly a simple, modest interior, and we kind of don't mind that. So we'll probably leave it like that on the inside. Not too much appliances and gadgets and things like that. Beyond that, I'm going to do some solar. I'd love to have the whole thing 24 volt. I'm still trying to get that all together, but that's like phase 3 of the project. So
I think it's going to look cool. I saw their little color charts and design features and stuff. He had this whole, it's really cool. Like if you ever go to a designer and they lay it out, and everything looked really cool what they were going to do, and like some of the brass fixtures that they're keeping in there and the upholstery that's in there, that's really cool. It's going to be very neat vintage. And I know one thing my wife taught me the other day. Me and Tyler's been looking for old trucks for me that we're thinking about getting and doing a Detroit swap in just as a fun project. And he sent me a
61 Ford Econoline, I think.
Ford Econoline that was a truck. So it looks like the van, but it's got a truck, so it was very cool. But it was just a little far gone for what we were looking for. And I told my wife, she didn't like the outside of it all. And I'm like, she's like, you got to repaint that. I'm like, no, I like the patina. And she's like, no, that's a piece of shitina. You don't want that. But there's a borderline between patina and piece of shitina.
they were wondering where we sourced, found our vendors. The property that we're on, is the guy who's also here, who was showing us the cars yesterday. He's been here his entire life, and he's been invaluable as to who to go talk to and things like that. I found the fab shop just by calling around and explaining. A lot of times when you say you've got a vintage piece that needs to be replicated, a fab shop will just say that we don't do that, and you'll get out of the conversation quick. This guy seemed kind of amused by it, so he and I talked for a while, talked to him a few times, and then he's like, yeah, bring it on down. He kind of got caught up in the enthusiasm of trying to get this thing turned around quickly. So it's like anybody, you just have to create a relationship and talk and kind of be very honest about what you're looking to get done and timetable, and they're out there in almost every town, I would imagine. I don't know, what's your experience in finding vendors when you're out on the road?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Ask a local person.
yeah, ask the people, and the fact that he's got so many contacts here, and the guy who used to own all these vehicles knew a lot of people too. I think that helps.
Leaf Springs. So Gene Russell, who is the guy at Russell's Diesel, he said that they're readily available. Any trailer repair shop, truck trailer repair shop should be able to order in the right size, and the U-bolts are off the shelf. So that I'm not really concerned about that. It's drivable right now. I will get it fixed very soon, but that's not anything I'm concerned about. That's a pretty standard repair from what I'm being told.
Yeah, I mean, I'd recommend that he tries to go to a spring shop on the way home.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, it's here or
Okay.
Indy
yeah.
Spring.
California. I'm going to take it out to California and then start. No, the bolts around the leaf springs have to be reattached soon because they tend to want to fall apart.
And my, if you notice his U-bolts, the nuts at the bottom are the same as mine. That's how all the silversides are. People were concerned, oh, your nuts are falling off the bottom of your spring. No, they're not. That's just how the silversides all came like that. I guess having thread that went beyond the nut, it wasn't really a thing in the 40s. They were saving money, so they didn't make the bolts extra long.
All right, if somebody recognizes me, probably from the Samba, the Volkswagen Hobby website. So,
All right, well, I think, are we done? Do we have anybody have anything you want to
I
say?
don't see anything else.
We're gonna go get to work now that it's 50 degrees outside, and it's windy, so it's still cold. Okay, well, we'll let you guys go, and we'll shoot some more video today. But today's the day we're gonna hopefully get a lot of stuff done.